Well, it's March 29th and a beautiful day here. 45 degrees or maybe warmer than that, and the sun is shining, the sky is blue. And we just got home today from an extended trip over staying or welcome at my son Dan's house in Florida. And we didn't intentionally stay down there that long. It just turned out that we had to because of the medical procedures that I had done. But anyway, we're back home now and it feels good. We just got here this morning. Actually, we left Seattle this morning at 8 o'clock Pacific time, and we got here at noon Alaska time. And of course, right away, we had to go get chicken food. And my wife had to make a chicken food order while we were gone. And it came, and it just so happened that they had it ready to be picked up today. A whole bunch of people go together, kind of a combine, and order chicken food in bulk or farm stuff in bulk. And they made an order several weeks ago, came in, and we just unloaded it today. It turned out pretty good because it was a nice day that we could, or we, I shouldn't say we, my son's doing most of it, Judy's doing a lot of it, cleaning up anyway. Anyway, we had, I think 40 bags of chicken scratch there that they just put in the barrels. My son Carl just did. He's taking a break now. That's pretty hard work, manhandling those. What are those bags? 50 pounds?
Yes.
50-pound bags of scratch. Manhandling those back in there and dumping them all in the containers. But that's what we keep them in. So we've got a whole bunch of steel barrels with tops on them, removable tops. And she fills those up with her feed. So that's the scratch. And then Carl's getting set up. Probably going to need a longer strap than that, Carl. I guess if you just, I was going to say you could hook it around the whole thing is what I usually do, but if you just hook it on one of those stringers, it might reach. But then,
I just hook it under the center stringer.
Yeah, well, that's pretty flimsy, but you do it. So anyway, we got some more feed there, this laying mash there for the layers, and she's got some stuff for another guy that ordered some too, and then some chick feed so she can raise some new baby chicks this year, and oyster shells for the eggs. So and we didn't get a whole lot of snow all winter. It was really cold most of the winter, and we did get some snow, but 2 or 3 inches at a time, and we kept it pretty well cleaned up. It was all done and just about gone when we left. Well, then it started snowing. Carl was here taking care of the place, and he got to plow snow a little bit more often. Well, it's been warm for the last week or so, and I guess raining a little bit and stuff, and the snow's gone off the driveway now and the ice. In fact, the driveway is really soft, mushy, frost going out of it, and the snow is melting pretty fast. Although the forecast says it might snow tomorrow. But we got home just in time for the bad weather to hit. At least it's nice today. Anyway, I haven't posted anything for quite a while. I don't know whether I'm going to do anything on our trip or not. We'll see what happens there. But we're back home now. Well, it's April 11th today, and a nice day. We've been home a couple weeks now. We got home on March 29th. We were gone for over a month and a half down. Most of the time was in Florida at my son's place. We only intended to spend a couple weeks down there, but I had a couple of surgeries while we were down there, and of course you deal with doctors and stuff like that, and you got to deal on their time, they don't deal on yours, so we wound up being down there a lot longer than intended. I figured when I got home we were going to hit the ground running and start getting some stuff done. But the weather has just been atrocious. I mean, this driveway looked like a river going down at half the time. And it'd be heavy rain one day, then the next day it would freeze hard. But I couldn't do much anything anyway because we came home with a nice present for my grandkids of a cold flu. Of course, I figured it'd take 2 or 3 days to get over that, and it's been 2 weeks. Getting over it now, but still got the after effects of it. But we're feeling better now. But anyway, the snow has disappeared with that warmer weather. The wind and the rain and whatnot has just dropped the snow down quite a bit. Well, there's almost none left around here. A little bit and a few little piles where it was piled up from either snow plowing, or like right here it doesn't get sunlight in here on this pad very much here because it's protected by the trees and it doesn't get the wind. So it was a little pile of snow there that was piled up from the winter. But most of every place else it's gone, and it's just been the last day that it's gone. Of course, we had some pretty violent weather. It was forecast to blow Saturday, and of course it did blow Saturday, and we had heavy rain, and it blew about 30-40 out here. But Sunday it was supposed to clear up a little bit and be better, but a storm came through and it blew 60, 70, 80 miles an hour here. In fact, knocked something, the power line down here, and we were out without power for 4 or 5 hours or so. And of course that always happens whenever Judy gets some eggs in the incubator. But fortunately last year she bought a little generator that we could go get started up and run the heater and stuff in the incubator while the power was out. We had a couple other little incidences here. I got my pile of lumber down there for the porch that we cut up last fall. Had it all stacked up there nice and covered up with some tin and a tarp. And wind blew that off. Almost a disaster too, because there's a fella staying here. Well, when the power went out, he came down to make sure it was power outage and not just something wrong with the house. And he just walked by that stack of lumber there, and a gust of wind hit him and knocked his hat off, and he stopped to pick it up, and a great big timber that was up there on that stack of lumber holding the tarp down came flying off of there. Let's see if I can see it here. Yeah, it's right over there. Come flying off of there and just missed him. He could have got it clocked pretty good with that. Well, anyway, that tore that tarp off of the lumber pile there. And then last year had a windstorm and tore up the tarp that covers up our bathhouse down there. I had a video of putting a new tarp on that, and the windstorm tore it off. It didn't tear it up, it just tore it off. So I got to put that back on. Yesterday morning it rained and everything was still wet, and then it snowed a little bit, and then in the afternoon it cleared off, but I wanted everything to get a chance to get dried out. So it's afternoon now, and everything's had sunshine on it and the wind blowing on it a little bit, and it's been drying out. So everything's dried out underneath where the tarps go. So I'm going to go ahead and see if I can get that tarps put on. And we drug out a new toy there, the Manlift. Got it up here. Last year when I put the tarp on the bathhouse, I used the Bobcat and the forks on it to pick the tarp up, set it out over the top of the ridge there, and then rolled it out with a rope and stuff by hand. I'm going to see if I can make use of this Manlift here now, and maybe make it a little easier on myself. We'll see. And I got a couple other things I want to do with it, but I'll get that done first, and then I got to get the Bobcat out with the forks and pick that stack of lumber up and put the tin back on it and get it covered back up and put back up there. Don't want that lumber to get all wet and discolored, because that's going to be the stuff that's going to be on the porch. So. that didn't quite go the way I'd envisioned it, but we got it up there and no major catastrophes. I stumbled around the back there on a whole piece of flower wire fence or something there that was buried in the muck and took a big face plant, but no serious damage, nothing that won't recover. So that's on there. I still got to stretch it out and tack it down and stuff again, but at least it'll protect it from the snowstorm, and it's on there now. Takes a little getting used to getting that thing to work or figuring out how that lift works, but now I got the Bobcat warming up. I'll bring it over here and pick the 2 stacks of lumber there. I'll pick those up and bring them down and redo the tent on those, put that tarp back on and get them covered up again before it starts snowing again. I got that Manlift out yesterday and put that tarp back over the top of the bathhouse, and we got the Bobcat out and recovered this stack of wood. I'd hoped I'd get a little bit more done, but as I was fooling around over there around the bathhouse there pulling that tarp on, my foot got hooked in an old piece of wiring there that was all buried in the grass and stuff, and I took a header, fell down face first, and I didn't think it hurt at first, but it sprained my chest muscle in my arm, on the right arm. So by the time I got done here, it was hurting pretty good, but it was getting late and I had a couple other things to do, so I quit. I intended on doing a couple more things when I had that thing going yesterday that I didn't get to, and one of them is the tarp down there on the hanger. The tacks on that hold it up kind of come loose, and that thing's kind of flopping in the breeze a little bit. I got the Manlift going, and I'm going to go ahead and pull it out, take it down there by the hanger, go tack that down, and then we'll see if I can get that around to the front of the house. But like I said, right now it's starting to rain and snow, so I better put the camera away. I brought the Manlift up here by the house a few days ago with the intent of putting house wrap up there on that second story where it kind of got old and tore up. I'd done the first story on that face last winter, which I could get up on the ladder and do that, but I couldn't get the upper portion of it. So anyway, I came out here the other day with the intent of doing that, and I got up there and kind of cleaned up the mess from the old stuff, tore it off, and checked it over. But it started raining, and I've been fighting this cold since we got back from Florida, and I don't need to be out and get all wet and chilled again and have it come back on me. It's just about done now. I'm on the end of it now. It's been raining and blowing and everything since then. It was raining this morning, but it's cleared off now, and we got an opening in the window in it now. I can get this done now. The wall's dry and everything, so I'm not going to be trapping any moisture against it, and I can use the nice weather that we got coming for something else. Well, anyway, I got out here, got everything all set up. I got my air compressor set up, and air line ran out to the basket. I got the Tyvek, or the house wrap, trimmed up to the length that I think I want. I went up there and got it started, got it tacked up there on the end. So now I got to go bring it on around and through that bay corner and around that. And I'll get it tacked on up at the top first, and then I'll come back to the corner and start stretching it out and tacking it down. Well, that looks better. It'll help protect the walls until we can get the siding up and stuff. I've got different house wrap. I got some of that frog skin to go up on there underneath the siding when we get ready to put it on, but this will protect it until then. So that's good. So the machine made a good down payment on its cost. Better than trying to put up scaffolding or hang on off of a ladder. Yeah, it started raining a little bit there just towards the end, but I didn't get dripped on too much. Actually, I need to now wait for that to dry out, that little eyebrow up there. I'd put roofing on there last year, I think, a couple of years ago anyway, but it's all bare wood up there now. I need to cover that up with some roofing material or some of that underlayment. So I guess that's next. We'll see if it clears up enough here and not raining, then maybe I'll get up there and do that. It'd be nice. Yeah, stuff really wasn't that wet up there. It's pretty well protected from that gable end. I've got to do something with that whole extension on there. I'm not sure exactly what I'm going to do yet on that, but we'll see. Anyway, that's good. Like I said, that machine just made a down payment on itself, so I gotta put the camera away. It's already gotten wet.